If you were to ask a sim racer what is the worst professional sim racing race of all time, you would probably get an answer like the virtual 24-hour Le Mans 2023. But what if I told you there is a lesser known race that arguably had an even bigger impact on professional sim racing? What if there was a professional sim racing race that was so bad that it allegedly ruined a 7-figure TV broadcasting deal? Because hidden away on the depths of iRacing YouTube is a race replay that has some of the most interesting iRacing lore that I've come across. This is the 2018 Peak Antifreeze Series Round 5 at Richmond Raceway. And this is, in my opinion, the worst professional sim race ever raced. The world of professional iRacing oval racing was completely different back in 2018. They were still using a full season point system, they were racing longer races, and there was a lot different driving going on because of the cars involved. 2018 is considered the golden era by a lot of old timers, where you had the Gen 6 car that wasn't neutered yet in engine power, leading to some very good racing on the old tire model. And while this combination of factors led to good racing from the participants' perspective, there was still an issue with short tracks because of how hard the cars were to drive, how much the cars made contact, and the less than stellar netcode of the time. There was a lot of opportunity for disaster at a track like Richmond. But this race wasn't just a big race for the drivers, because allegedly this was the race that iRacing was meeting with executives from a TV company to try to ink a deal for broadcasting rights for future seasons of the Peak Series. While I could not confirm this claim, I did hear this rumor from multiple credible sources. So let's take a look at the events of this race, go over some details about it, and talk about the implications that this race had on the broader sim racing esports space. So the first oddity of this race is that the broadcast misses the first 10 laps. I don't know if it was like this on the live broadcast, but the race recording that got uploaded to YouTube after does not include the first 10 laps of the race, only this screen here. In that 10 laps, there was a caution involving 2 cars. Nothing crazy, it looks like, but very curious and a little bit weird that we just straight up missed 10 laps. As we get started, though, it seems to be a clean enough start. But there is a lot more to go in the 190 laps in this race. The first broadcasted caution comes around lap 18. And again, this will be a very big theme. Very small wrecks that bring out the caution and bring everyone to a standstill. So cautions in this series is gonna last 5 laps, 4 to 5 laps, depending on if people are taking tires. But that's a very typical wreck right there, because these cars aren't exactly stable. The old tire model is a lot slidier, less grip compared to today. So if you get just a little tap, it could just easily spin you out, a lot more on the old tire model than even on this current tire model. So we get back to racing on lap 23, and it was a clean enough start, but we'll see something very interesting here. This 42 car, he stayed out having older tires than everyone else. Everyone else pit except the 42, and we'll just see the 42 blow the corner and take out Bobby Zielinski in the 83 there, bringing out another caution. I don't know if that was a manual trigger or not. I don't think that would have triggered an iRacing automatic caution, but they threw that there. So that is our second caution right in a row. You know what? I didn't know there were side-by-side commercials in these races. Wait, who's that? Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Want a protein shake? Thank you to Transparent Labs for sponsoring this video. And yes, I did use a sponsor read to prove to you guys that I can do 1, maybe 2 pull-ups on a good day. With my recent efforts to bulk up, I've been looking for a protein powder to add to my diet, but I've been a little bit wary about ones where there's just extra gunk that I don't really want to put in my body. That's why I'm very excited to partner with Transparent Labs, because their nutritional supplements are free of any artificial dyes, fillers, and only have natural ingredients. They even get continuous third-party testing to make sure that they maintain that purity and safety in their products. And on top of all that, it tastes good. On the weekdays, I just do a straight protein shake, water and powder, very tasty, drink it with no issues every single day. But then on the weekends, I like to get a little creative. And this weekend, I made a strawberry, banana, and chocolate protein powder smoothie. And right now, Transparent Labs is having a Black Friday deal through December 3rd, 25% off all their supplements, plus you get a free bundle on orders of over $149. That includes a backpack, a water bottle, and 5 samples of their different products. So if you want to make the Pro Series and want to be in your peak physical form, don't miss out on Transparent Labs Black Friday sale, their biggest of the year. We then have the second longest green flag run of the day of 18 laps. 18 laps is the second longest green flag run in a 200 lap race. As we get this caution right here for a couple more cars in back, not much damage, just a couple spins, just enough to bring out the yellow. And then after another impressive 18 lap run, yet another caution. This one causes a lot more damage because that looks like a little bit of malicious intent, and then a car going right up in front of everyone. That's a couple critical damaged cars. You're not going to see much of that, but you do get a pretty big wreck right there. But here is the longest run of the day. We made it to lap 125 before the caution. If you're counting, that is 38 laps under green. That is like half the length of a B-fixed race, I think. So they did a very good job. And as you can see, that is a terminally damaged car. If we go ahead and jump to see what happened in it, just to overcorrect after getting run over, and that's going to bring out the yellow when he slides back up the track. So after this, you'll notice that we haven't had too many cautions yet. We've had 6, I think, at this point. So we have 9 yet to go, but there's only 70 laps left in the race. And I think you guys know what's coming now. Astoundingly, we have 7 cautions in a row, all happening within 5 laps of the previous restart. You can see everyone is just getting back to green. Some of these happen on the lap that they restart. And you can see that most of them are pretty small, with one pretty funny exception. Second place, Zach Novak spinning from the lead is a little unfortunate, just getting slid into. And those cars were a lot harder to save back then. So that's another reason. There's multiple reasons why these wrecks keep happening. 1, the cars are really hard to save. And 2, they are not taking terminal damage from any of these wrecks because they're pretty tanky and you're not going very fast, especially in restarts. So you can just see restart after restart. This one's a crazy one. I don't know what's going on here. and then we get a blowover. We get a blowover at Richmond. That wreck lasted like half the lap and included a flip. That's like an all-time Richmond wreck. That deserves us taking a look at it one more time. And the worst part, the most frustrating part about this is that I would say 2/3 of these wrecks are just happening at the back of the pack, which is just not really good for racing. Like, it's one thing if the leaders are racing hard and it causes a wreck. It's another thing if you just see people around the back, you just bringing out wrecks, slipping in each other. It seems like they just don't care anymore, and that kind of hurts the viewability of the race. But regardless, we've somehow almost made it to the end of the race. Now, back in this time, there was no green-white checkers. So once we get to lap 200, it's done. So we get to the final restart, and they actually make it pretty far. Ray Alfala makes a good move for the race lead. He's now winning the race over, I believe that's Ryan Luza. And you might get a good run here. Luza might be able to have one more chance to make a move on Alfala. And then we get a caution coming out with 4, right with 4 to go. Right with 4 to go. This is the cutoff where the race is over. The moment that you cross 5 to go to 4 to go, you're not getting a restart anymore. The race is done. So they got a caution at the exact moment that the race could have been over with the caution. So that's anticlimactic because not only is the race over at this point, but now they just have to pace for 4 laps. Just waiting for the race to end. After all of that, after all of the wrecking, we're not even going to get a chaos final lap. No green-white checkers now. We're just going to pace for 4 laps in the position that we are, and that's the race. So Ray Alfala won this race, and if you guys weren't watching back then, Ray Alfala is kind of the GOAT of iRacing. He was still very good around this time. He was leading the points. This was one of the last years. Basically, Ray was the best on this old tire model. So him winning this race is like the equivalent to an absolute crash fest of a real life NASCAR race, and then Denny Hamlin coming out the other side and winning. Just because you kind of want someone like an underdog to make their way through the wrecks and win, but nope, it's the heavy favorite that wins. So that was kind of the cherry on top of the anticlimactic nature of this race finish. All credit to Ray though, because he finished this race with 0 incidents, and I have a couple very interesting stats from this race. So this race lasted a total time of about 1 hour and 44 minutes. I don't know exactly because we didn't get to see the first 10 laps, but somewhere around there. The number of caution laps in that race was 69, meaning that laps-wise, 34% of the laps were run under caution. But caution laps obviously take longer than green flag laps. I calculated that the amount of time spent under yellow was about 57 minutes, meaning that out of the 1 hour and 44 minutes, 55% of this race was run under yellow. That is not a great look, especially when you have some high power people watching. The implications of this race were both immediate and over the course of many years. The immediate implication was that the deal and the relationship soured on the TV broadcast side of things, and that never materialized for the iRacing Peak series, which then in turn turned into the Coca-Cola series. While iRacing did end up getting some stuff on TV, it was the Pro Invitational that only really happened because of COVID. And even during COVID, the Coca-Cola series was never even given a shot then. Within a few years, the iRacing schedule started to look completely different. For example, by 2022, this same Richmond race was now 130 laps instead of 200. And then by 2024, they did away with the full race structure entirely, going for a heat into main type of sequence. This move was reportedly in an attempt to shorten the amount of time the races would take for another potential TV deal if one came about. But seemingly that deal never came, and who knows if it was this race specifically that directly led to the TV deal never coming, but what I know from a lot of people in the know and a lot of old Coke Series drivers is they'll say, yeah, that was the race that everyone looked like a fool, and just a very frustrating race all around, and it seemingly has had a lasting impact. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you prefer these shorter and heat and main based races of the current Coke series, or do you like the old longer races more? And also make sure to check out djyee-j.com if you want any iRacing lessons linked in the descriptions. And thank you to Transparent Labs for sponsoring this video. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day and hope to see you all on the track.